The moment you recognize that you are in danger is the moment you begin to take your life seriously. Many people go through life oblivious to the threats that surround them, believing that because they are faithful, because they are trying, because they are doing their best, nothing can harm them. But danger does not wait for preparation. Danger does not negotiate. Danger comes in the form of challenges, attacks, temptations, and trials, often disguised in ways that seem harmless at first. And this is why awareness is so critical. To be chosen does not mean to be exempt from danger. In fact, it often means that the enemy will increase his efforts against you, knowing that your potential has the power to influence, to inspire, and to impact lives. Being chosen attracts opposition, and if you fail to recognize it, the very things God has called you to accomplish can be derailed before they even begin. Awareness of danger is not meant to instill fear. It is meant to awaken vigilance. It is meant to sharpen your senses, to make you alert, to make you ready to respond with the wisdom and strength that God provides. When you understand that you are in danger, you understand that your decisions matter, your actions matter, and your spiritual readiness matters. This awareness compels you to examine your life, to identify areas of vulnerability, and to seek the protection that God has already made available to you. It is the moment when you stop ignoring the whispers of caution, the moments when you stop pretending that everything is fine, and the moments when you acknowledge that without divine guidance, the storms of life can sweep you off your feet. But here is the power of recognition. Once you see the danger, you can respond. Once you see the danger, you can call on God's plan to save you. Once you see the danger, you can prepare yourself spiritually, mentally, and emotionally to withstand the attacks that are coming. Many people are caught off guard because they live in denial. They see the signs, they sense the warnings, but they convince themselves that it will pass, that it won't happen to them, that somehow God will protect them automatically without any effort on their part. That is not the way it works. God equips, but he also expects action. He provides, but he also calls for vigilance. He gives you the awareness, and it is your responsibility to use it wisely. Recognizing danger is the first step toward salvation, toward victory, toward moving into the plan God has prepared. It is the moment of truth when you decide whether you will remain passive or whether you will rise up and claim the protection, the guidance, and the deliverance that God has already laid out for you. The chosen life is not free from struggle, but it is designed to overcome struggle. Awareness of danger is the first key to walking boldly into the destiny that awaits you. God's plan for your life is not random. It is not a matter of chance or coincidence. It is deliberate, intentional, and perfectly orchestrated for your ultimate good. When you understand that God has a divine plan specifically for you, it changes the way you view every circumstance, every setback, and every challenge. This plan is not something that God devised in haste. It has been carefully crafted, taking into account your strengths, your weaknesses, your experiences, and even the times when you felt unworthy or unprepared. The beauty of God's plan is that it is tailored for you, designed to guide you out of danger and to position you for the destiny you were created to fulfill. It is not a generic plan for anyone. It is your plan, unique to your life, filled with opportunities that align with your purpose. Often, people underestimate the power of a divine plan because they look at the present moment and see difficulty, struggle, or danger. They think that because life is hard, there is no plan at all. But the truth is, God's plan often begins in the midst of trials. It is in the pressure, in the challenges, in the seasons that feel overwhelming, that God's plan is quietly working behind the scenes. Every hardship you face is not an accident. It is a part of the process that prepares you for the fullness of what is ahead. To embrace God's plan is to embrace hope when hope seems lost, to trust when trust feels impossible, and to move forward even when fear tells you to retreat. It requires faith. The kind of faith that believes in what cannot yet be seen. The kind of faith that says, even though I don't understand, I know that God is working. God's plan is not just about rescue from danger. It is about transformation. It is about taking the life that feels broken, fragile, or uncertain and turning it into something powerful, purposeful, and impactful. It is about taking the moments when you felt powerless and showing you that through Him, you are never powerless. The divine plan is also about timing. It is not rushed. It is not delayed. It is perfectly aligned with the moments when you are ready to receive, ready to act, and ready to step into your destiny. God does not operate on human schedules. He operates on divine timing. Trusting the plan means surrendering control, letting go of impatience, and believing that every detail is being worked out in your favor. When you grasp this truth, it changes the way you live. You no longer wait passively for life to happen. You step boldly into the path God has prepared, confident that no obstacle is too great, no enemy too strong, and no circumstance too difficult to overcome. God's plan is salvation, it is guidance, it is protection, and it is the pathway to the purpose for which you were created. Once you recognize it, embrace it, and act upon it, your life will never be the same. Procrastination and hesitation are the enemy's favorite tools. They are the subtle traps that keep you from stepping into the fullness of God's plan. Too often, people see the opportunity, feel the call, recognize the danger, and yet do nothing. They wait, they delay. They convince themselves that tomorrow will be better, that they will act when they feel stronger, or that the timing will somehow magically align. But the truth is, waiting gives the enemy room to operate. Waiting gives fear a foothold. Waiting allows doubt and distraction to creep in and derail the very plan that was designed to save you. When God presents a plan, it is never meant for delay. Divine opportunities are meant to be seized. Moments of revelation are meant to be acted upon. And doors that open are meant to be walked through with courage and faith. Hesitation, even for a moment, can cost you the blessing, the breakthrough, or the protection that is rightfully yours. You must understand that God's timing is precise, and so is the timing of the enemy. The longer you wait, the more pressure builds, the more danger grows, and the more difficult it becomes to step into your destiny. This is why the message is urgent. Do not wait. Do not linger. Do not underestimate the power of immediate action. acting in alignment with God's plan requires courage, and courage often feels uncomfortable. It requires stepping out of safety, leaving behind old patterns, and confronting fear head on. But hesitation is the opposite of courage. It whispers, "Not now, wait a little longer." While the enemy says, "Delay, and you will be mine." Every delay is a gift the enemy seizes to weaken your resolve. Waiting may seem safe, but safety in hesitation is a lie. True safety comes from obedience, from moving when God moves, from stepping into the plan that has been prepared just for you. There is also a spiritual law at work when you act in faith, when you step boldly, when you seize the opportunity. God responds with power. But when you wait, when you hesitate, the spiritual momentum slows, the protection feels distant, and the breakthrough you were meant to experience can be delayed. You have to make a choice. Will you be passive or proactive? Will you let fear dictate your actions, or will you let faith take the lead? Hesitation is costly, but action is liberating. Action is the bridge that connects danger to deliverance, fear to faith, and delay to destiny. Every moment you hesitate is a moment lost. Every second you wait is an opportunity the enemy can use against you. But the moment you move, the moment you step into God's plan with boldness and conviction, everything changes. Obstacles begin to shift, protection is activated, and divine favor aligns in ways you could never anticipate. The call is clear: act now, move now, and trust God to meet you in the moment. Do not wait, because waiting may be the very thing that keeps you from the salvation, guidance, and victory that God has ordained for you. Faith and trust in God's protection are the foundation of every step you take toward deliverance. It is one thing to know that danger exists and that God has a plan, but it is another thing entirely to believe, truly believe, that He will guide you through it, guard you from harm, and lead you into victory. Faith is not a passive feeling. It is an active, deliberate choice to rely on God when circumstances seem impossible, when the storm rages, and when fear threatens to overwhelm you. Many people struggle because they see only the danger, they feel the pressure, and they allow uncertainty to cloud their vision. But God calls you to a higher perspective, to trust in His unseen hand, to walk by faith and not by sight. Trust in God's protection requires confidence in His sovereignty. It requires understanding that He is bigger than every threat, stronger than every enemy, and wiser than every challenge you face. You cannot rely on your own strength, your own plans, or your own understanding. You must place your full confidence in Him, knowing that He is the ultimate protector and guide. When fear whispers in your ear, faith speaks louder. When doubt tries to convince you to retreat, trust in God reminds you that He is already ahead of you, already arranging the path, already covering every step you take. Faith transforms how you see danger. It does not make the danger disappear, but it changes your response to it. Instead of panic, you respond with prayer and action. Instead of despair, you embrace hope. Instead of hesitation, you move forward with confidence. God's protection is real, but it requires you to believe it and to live in alignment with it. This means obeying His instructions, walking in righteousness, and maintaining a heart that is aligned with His will. Protection is not just about safety from harm, It is about being positioned in the exact place God intends for you, where his plan can unfold fully. Trust is the bridge between knowing God exists and experiencing his power in your life. When you trust him, you are no longer a passive participant in your destiny. You are an active co-laborer with the Creator, moving confidently through life's dangers because you know he is with you. Even in moments of uncertainty, even when the odds seem impossible, trust allows you to stand firm, knowing that God's plan is perfect and that his protection is unwavering. It is faith and trust that turn fear into courage, danger into opportunity, and uncertainty into hope. When you embrace this truth, you walk boldly into the plan of God, knowing that nothing can harm you, nothing can derail you, and nothing can prevent the fulfillment of the destiny he has prepared. Faith and trust are not optional, they are essential. They are the armor that shields you, the light that guides you, and the anchor that keeps you steady in every storm. Action is the bridge between knowing and experiencing, between hearing God's call and stepping into your destiny. Too many people live in a state of passivity, thinking that awareness, faith, and even prayer alone will carry them through danger. But God's plan requires motion. It requires courage. It requires that you rise, that you step, that you move into the unfolding of his purpose for your life. Action is not merely physical movement. It is a spiritual declaration that you are ready to embrace what God has prepared for you. It is the tangible response to divine instruction, the demonstration of your willingness to cooperate with heaven. When you act, you release the power of God into your circumstances. You shift from being a spectator in your life to being a participant in the miracle that God has orchestrated. Too often, people wait for perfect conditions, for clarity, or for the fear to disappear. But action in faith is never about waiting for fear to vanish. It is about moving in spite of it. Every step you take toward God's plan activates his favor, his guidance, and his protection. Hesitation delays your breakthrough, but movement positions you for victory. To act is to acknowledge that you cannot rely solely on yesterday's prayers, today's thoughts, or tomorrow's hopes. Action demands presence, focus, and intentionality. It is saying, here I am, God, I am willing, I am ready, I will move. When you act, you also inspire divine momentum. The forces of heaven respond to obedience. Opportunities that were hidden begin to reveal themselves. Connections that were distant begin to align. Obstacles that seemed insurmountable begin to shift. Every act of courage, every step of faith becomes a building block in the structure of your destiny. Action also requires courage because it often takes you out of comfort, away from familiarity, and into the unknown. But it is in these moments of uncertainty that God's power is most evident. The unknown is not a place of danger for those who act in faith. It is the launch pad for miracles. Your willingness to move, even when you cannot see the full path, demonstrates trust in God's plan. Action is also contagious. When you move, you inspire others to move. Your faith in motion becomes a beacon to those who are still waiting, still hesitant, still unsure. By stepping into God's plan, you not only claim your own destiny, but also become an instrument for change in the lives of others. The call to action is urgent. The plan of God is not delayed, but it requires your cooperation. Standing still allows the enemy to advance, but moving in obedience unleashes divine protection and provision. Every step you take is a declaration that fear will not control you, that hesitation will not define you, and that you are ready to embrace the fullness of what God has designed for your life. Action is the key that unlocks deliverance, positions you for victory, and transforms potential into reality. Identity is everything. Who you are in God's eyes determines how you respond to life, how you face danger, and how you embrace the plan He has for you. To be chosen is not merely a label, it is a declaration of purpose, protection, and potential. When you understand that you are chosen, loved, and protected, it changes everything. It changes the way you see yourself, the way you handle adversity, and the way you step into your destiny. Many people live their lives questioning their worth, doubting their abilities, and fearing that they are not enough. But God's truth does not operate on human limitations. Being chosen means that you are equipped, that you are prepared, and that you are set apart for a specific mission that only you can fulfill. Your identity in God is a shield against the lies of the enemy. It is the foundation upon which faith is built. Courage is strengthened and destiny is secured. When you know who you are, you no longer allow fear, failure, or the opinions of others to dictate your path. You stand firm because your identity is rooted in the eternal, in the promises of God, and not in the temporary circumstances of life. Being loved by God is another layer of protection and empowerment. His love is unconditional, unwavering, and unshakable. It is not based on your performance, your past mistakes, or the opinions of those around you. God's love surrounds you, covers you, and strengthens you. It reminds you that no matter the danger, no matter the challenge, no matter the opposition, you are never alone. This love fuels resilience, restores hope, and ignites determination. To embrace your identity as chosen and loved is also to recognize that you have been called for a purpose greater than yourself. Your life is not random. Your struggles are not meaningless. Every experience, every trial, every season has been orchestrated to mold you, prepare you, and position you for the plan that God has designed just for you. Protection comes naturally when you walk in the awareness of your identity. The enemy may attempt to intimidate, deceive, or discourage you, but when you know who you are, his tactics lose their power. You are shielded not only by God's hand, but also by the confidence that comes from understanding your divine status. Embracing your identity transforms your mindset and your actions. You begin to speak differently, move differently, and make decisions differently. You no longer settle for mediocrity because you know that greatness has been placed inside you. You no longer shrink back in the face of danger because you know that protection and provision are already aligned with your life. Your identity empowers you to act decisively, to step boldly into God's plan, and to live with confidence that your victory is certain. The affirmation of being chosen, loved, and protected is not a suggestion. It is a reality that, when fully embraced, propels you into your destiny with unstoppable force. Your life, your purpose, and your destiny are tied to this truth, And it is through this understanding that you rise above danger, claim your blessings, and fulfill the plan of God